thanks for coming today to this very beautiful location. When I first became the Minister about 4.5 years ago now, I don't know where that time's all gone, but being a non-fisherman myself, I spent a bit of time trying to understand how the rules worked in respect to the recreation sector and the commercial sector, and discovered that we actually have a very, very complicated regulatory system, particularly for recreational fishers. And it seemed to me that if you've got a whole heap of very complicated regulations, it makes it difficult for people to remember them all, particularly if you're travelling around the state where we have different rules in different parts of the state, different bag limits, different size limits, a whole range of differences that did make life complicated. And because we have quite severe penalties for people breaking the rules, it seemed to me that we should try and simplify the regulations to make it easier for people to enjoy recreational fishing. So the department sat down, it's the Fisheries Department, and worked their way through the regulations in relation to recreational fishing, came up with a series of recommendations which we then put out for public comment. We then asked RecFish West, which is the organisation that looks after recreational fishers, if they would then manage a consultation process which has gone for about a year. They received 900 submissions from various individuals around the state who wanted to make their opinions known. And as a result of that, today we're announcing the outcome of that consultation process. Basically, it is all about simplifying the rules, coming from 4 regions to 1. There used to be 4 booklets, one for each region around the state, with all different rules. People had to get a different book when they travel around. Now it's all come down to one book which describes all the rules and regulations in respect to recreational fishing right around the state. And that, I think, is a very significant improvement. We've changed a lot of the complications that are in the system and come up with what I think is a set of rules that will make life easier for people going fishing.
Okay, today marks one of the most significant advances in recreational fisheries management in the last decade. The dramatic simplification of the rules that we're seeing today unveiled also creates a far better platform for the effective management of recreational fishing into the future. At the moment, we manage recreational fishing on 4 bioregions, and we have 13 different bag limit categories that apply to recreational fishing around WA. We've simplified that down into 4 resource type bag limit categories, which is demersal species, which are the key bottom fish that people often go out and target off the metropolitan coast and further up north. For that particular resource of demersal bottom fish, we're looking at a mixed bag limit of 5 outside the West Coast region. And it's important to recognise that a couple of years ago we had some significant sustainability issues with demersal scalefish in the West Coast, and we needed to define all those species to put in place an effective recovery plan. We've now extended that logic to apply across the state and define the demersal bottom fish around WA. We've also done a similar approach with defining all the pelagic, the large pelagic fish like the mackerel and tuna, where a simple mixed bag limit of 3 will apply. We've got another category which is the nearshore and estuarine species, where there's a mixed bag limit of 16. So it creates a far more simplified arrangement for recreational fishers. It doesn't make recreational fishing such a daunting task and trying to understand the different myriad of rules that apply to recreational fishing around WA. That's good for recreational fishing, it's good for families, it's good for kids that want to get involved in recreational fishing as well. So we're in a better place for managing recreational fishing. It's simpler, and it certainly creates a more effective framework to take recreational fishing forward for the next decade.
Has there been, Nathan, any reduction in any bag limits at all with these new rules?
With the simplification process, certainly some things go up, some things go down, but we've listened to the community through RecFish West, and we've tried to build in any of the concerns they had where they thought some species should be higher. A couple of classic examples would be red snapper, which are also referred to as nanagai on the south coast. They have a special bag limit of 8 to take into account some of the concerns down there. And we didn't have the argument from a sustainability point of view to have a lower bag limit. Same thing for King George whiting. There will now be a statewide bag limit of 12 King George whiting, which is higher than what we have at the moment. Up in the Gascoyne, the bag limit for red emperor, species like Rankin cod will go from 2 to 3. So there's some real winners there. A couple of species like pink snapper in the Gascoyne will go from 4 to 3, but I think we've got the right mix. We've listened to the community, and I think that through RecFish West, receiving over 900 submissions, we've got the right balance and a strong level of community support for the outcomes we've got today.
And we're really pleased that the state government has listened to the voices of the recreational fishing community in coming up with this, the first consolidated statewide set of rules for the state of Western Australia. It's going to make it a lot more simpler for families when they're travelling around the state to only have one guidebook which they have to refer to, and once we learn the new set of rules, then when we travel around the state we'll be much better off and with a simpler, less complex set of rules. Currently we have 4 different bioregions, and the rules change from bioregion to bioregion. We have a very large state in Western Australia obviously, and over the past decade or so the changes to the recreational fishing rules have been changed just through an ad hoc nature. This, as the department has stated, does represent a real turning point in terms of having a consolidated statewide approach to how recreational fishing in Western Australia is managed.